All right. Most definitely. Looks like we in here again. The one and only Down the Spirit conversational podcast. More like a conversation of two down to spirit, down to earth partners in here talking. Well, we got the sound off over here. What's smiling? Well, we gonna have a good another good talk today, I'm sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
today this is what we on today. We on spirituality and loss, which would include people, health, things. But yeah, dealing with, loss in maybe the context of spirituality, however that looks for you and how it looks for us in this conversation. But first off, we always ask the question of how's your mental health been lately? So how's your mental health been, bro?
man. This week was a week, man. It was very, very challenging.
Okay, very
Very
challenging.
challenging. Yep. Issues in relationships, issues in uh work, you know what I mean? So it was, you know, plus little other minor things. It's just been things, just challenges.
Challenges.
Best way to say it. So, I had to um continue to use the methods, the practices to get out of that energy because I was I wouldn't say a bad place, but I wasn't where I usually am at.
Okay. And you said methods and practices. What's that what's that
So
entail?
tapping, ELT, I did some, I'll say praying, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would say more so talking out loud.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Um, Trying to think what else, and then just like finding something else to shift my energy. So
Okay.
maybe it might be watching something, maybe listen to some music. You know what I mean? Coping skills.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you did that tapping. Shout out to I just was on a podcast with Gorilla Spade and them. They aped out
Salute.
Friday podcast. Yeah, salute to the homies, man. And Madam Z was on there too, man. Had a good conversation with them. But I end up walking people through the tapping process of being able to, tap on your body in these particular areas to alleviate stress, anxiety, and sometimes even pain. Because this work well for people who might have fibromyalgia, for instance. It was a guy who was battling with that for years and years, man. 10 years plus would have to go do physical therapy things to where it will kind of alleviate it for a little while and then it will come back. But when he actually did the tapping thing and actually cleared all the emotions and everything behind it, then he don't have the issue anymore, don't have that pain anymore. So yeah, if y'all end up watching that podcast, y'all will see me go through the tapping process. We end up doing it on here one time too. But yeah, let's see. So you told me how your mental health was doing. Mine is pretty good as well. Um, man, actually I've been in a real great space, man. I've been getting
That's
some
awesome.
spiritual advice. I've been going to see some prophetic folks, that's been telling me, I guess kind of the layout of what um possibly could happen in my life. When you talk to a person that kind of can foresee, let's just say in the future or foresee on your life in a spiritual way, they telling you, from my assumption, what may happen or could happen if you just continue to live life with the way that you living now, the kind of decisions you make as a person now. But all of that stuff, excuse me, can be changed. So people got to realize that, like, a person can prophesize and say, okay, this can happen in your life. I see you doing this or doing that. True enough, you can go down that road and they might give you foresight on how to start, turning your behaviors or kind of go forward in a quicker way or a more safe way. But you can also fight against it and be like, I'm gonna do something different. And I know people say, hey, what God has for you, he has for you. But, a person could, it could be a timeline laid out for a person, so to speak, but then the person can feel like they just want to end everything and do that. Then they stop the process, right? So you have some sort of control over things. But yeah, my mental health has been good, man. I've been in a good space. I've been hopeful. I've been researching belief and prayer on the level of I think I got some major breakthroughs that when I put the things together, it's going to change, man, my life in the most extreme way. And then I'll have some blueprint to help change other people's lives, whoever is lucky to see this research I've been having. But yeah, but spirituality and loss, man, that's a real big topic, man, of a lot of things that can be, under the umbrella of that, because there's a lot of different losses, types of losses, such as, people dealing with, people, losing people with breakups, with estrangement, health, chronic illness, dealing with your mental health dips, and even aging, man. Aging is a big thing that people have to deal with, loss wise. They losing whatever they feel like might be their youthfulness, so to speak. And then just, identity and things like, job loss, moving, you moving to different places that you ain't even been before, having to let go of old environments, man. When ego hits is us males, I know we deal with a lot of ego. I feel like more than some women do, but I ain't trying to, judge in a sexual way. So both people, men and women deal with it a lot. So I would say, man, loss technically ain't about death. It's about, change, and sometimes change is forced. And then sometimes change includes physical change, like we said, moving, or even change in spiritual thinking, right?
Yeah.
So spirituality and loss, man. What's your take on that? You got any experiences with that?
Yes, I do. Got a lot of experience.
Okay, good. Hey, we'll let you.
So um, in my own life, of course, the reoccurring topic is bipolar, manic episodes, mental illness. You know, I've experienced those episodes. I want to say 6 or 7 in the past 5 years, 6 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's been loss of people, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
loss of uh, identity, and since I was once a part of one of the quote unquote most respected um, communities members, in the member of the community as far as with me being a preacher, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that goes out the window. Um, Loss of jobs, loss of finances,
Mm-hmm.
potentially losing vehicle, you know what I'm saying? Lost residence where you gonna stay,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Staying in an extended stay. So I mean, like the spirituality component of it is very near and dear to my heart because I reflect, back when I was in an extended stay and I thought there was no hope. You know what I mean? I was in the darkest of darks, lowest of lows, and thought there was no getting out of it. There was no getting up from this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh off of a divorce, fresh off of, you know, um, life changing in a drastic way.
Mm-hmm. I like that
You know
word.
what I mean?
Man.
So, like, what I didn't know then was I was going through a rebirth process.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I was then is not the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I was back then, I wasn't living my truth.
Mm-hmm.
I was conforming to what society had for me,
Yeah.
conforming to trying to fit or people please and to meet expectations. But when I started to wake up and have a spiritual awakening, and sometimes people think the spiritual awakening is something beautiful. It is beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very painful,
Uh-huh.
very painful. When
Yeah.
you start waking up and you start seeing that what you thought was truth or what you thought um only you thought was something major only to be realized that it was an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't what you thought it was in every major category. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was a trying period for me, but it was also very beneficial because I've learned like one of my major life lessons for this time here was to identify and learn what real self-love is about.
Mm-hmm.
The the issues in the home growing up,
Yeah.
the absence of a father, it was meant for me to grow and learn what self-love is.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. So,
He said so
like,
that's a lot that a lot of men and young men and young women and women deal with that now. Like just let's just say the absence of a father, or some of them, just absence of parents, period. And I've been noticing a lot of people just say in the foster system, man, a lot of things going on, man,
man,
with people and not having, I guess, an exterior person to be able to be there for them to, help give them that, love that they might feel like they need. So, which should shine a light on the importance of the fact that, self-love is really, one of the most important things. Once you have that love, then you are, strong enough to deal with the changes, the exterior changes that happen. You know what I'm saying? Having one love interest here at this particular time, but then that one leaving, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe having, let's just say a parent here one day and then you can lose the parent through something like, passing, alongside of the fact that you might have a parent that might be, a addict or anything that cause you to not have a relationship with a parent like you would like to have, or
right.
not even have like that love that you feel like you would want to have in a relationship form. But that self love is really the thing that's gonna keep you through a lot of that. And even
So,
greater than that self love, like having the love in reference to God, understanding what the love of God is, understanding the true foundational components of what God's love means, and then having that relationship with God, and then having that relationship with yourself, and vice versa. But if you have that as a core, then you would, be better equipped to withstand the exterior things that happen. Just like you need a house with a roof on it and hopefully a dope foundation to keep you away from, the rain and the elements that might happen, right? So
right.
most definitely. But in reference to spirituality and loss again, man, what are some of the spiritual things that you do to kind of keep you, in check in reference to staying, kind of with the strength that you need to withstand the loss
Um,
that happens in life.
so a lot of energy work, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is your vibration feeling good. You know what I mean? Like you will say, if you look good, you feel good. So taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Get your hair done, get lined up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, take care of yourself. You need to get a massage, get a massage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do a little better with your eating, things like that. Get up and move, exercise, you know what I mean? Meditation,
Hmm.
tapping,
Yep.
something creative, whether that's writing or performing or recording, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be drawing. It's any of those things. I also find something funny or watch something interesting.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things. And then just reminding myself, like, okay, you've been in darker periods,
Hmm.
you've been in darker times.
Yeah. Because I noticed, you mentioned some of them times that you were dealing with prior when you was having, when you was kind of explaining some of the times that you dealt with earlier in the conversation.
Yeah,
And it seems like when we go through some of those times, man, that we don't really see the, means to an end. You know what I mean? When we're in
right. You
the
don't.
storm, it's like, man, you in the midst of the storm. It's like your vision is obstructed. So it's like you don't see the means
Yeah,
to the end. And that's where I guess faith comes into play, man. Like knowing that, man, God got me, God brought me through. Being able to reflect on past situations that happened that you didn't see a means to an end on as you was in the midst of that storm, um, and noticing that God brought you out some sort of way, you came up out of it some sort of way, and being able to reflect back on that and notice that, man, I can very well have faith in this particular situation, which it has a
yeah.
different structure to it than the other ones, but still I made it through those other ones.
It's so interesting. I got a friend, and I was telling him, I was like, man, God just look out for you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and I told him, I was like, man, every time, like, 'cause I've seen sample size of his life. You know what I mean? I ain't been there from the beginning, but I've seen enough. And I was like, from being down and out to being in the extended stay to, you know what I mean? Like a couple times not knowing where you gonna go, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, things just work out for you. Like it's crazy. Like sometimes you don't see it in your life,
Uh-huh.
but you'll see it in somebody else because you can look at them. You know what I mean? You're more objective with somebody else. You're more critical of yourself. And I was like, man, God just gives them a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
ends up getting an apartment where he ain't got to pay first month, second month. Just get on in
Oh,
and get on in and pay the first month rent. You know what I mean? Like
see?
I'm like, man. So I was like, man, every time you get down and you start tripping, only to realize God got you
Yeah,
and
tripping for no
God taking
reason.
care of you
Yep, worrying for no reason.
for no reason. He was like, man, you right. You right. I ain't even noticed that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, just for real. Like, I'm like, man,
And it made me think about a quote. And I was watching BET Awards 2025 the other day, man. And I must admit, the BET Awards this year, man, is pretty cold. Yeah, some
mm,
of the other ones they had pretty good parts in them, whatever. But this one right here, man, I stand to say, man, all the way through, pretty much, man. It was cold. But Tyler Perry ended up saying, "Don't let your worry be greater than your faith," and that stuck with me.
mm,
I was like, "Don't let your worry be greater than your faith." I'm like, "Oh, that makes a whole lot of sense, man," because we really waste our time worrying a lot, man. And I noticed that I would tell a lot of other people that, and just to kind of second what you said, like when you look at other people's situation and see the the light and the the benefit of what they didn't get or what they didn't made it through or
yep,
the special things that's happening for them, and then it'd be hard to see it within yourself because I guess we sitting inside of the picture, right? It's like you can't
yep,
read the label when you sitting inside of the box, so to speak, right? But just thinking about in my life, man, like the times that I done worried and then made it through it, which is every single situation I done had in life. It's like for us to be here even talking now, we have to know that we made it through all of the worst times, what I'm
man,
saying, in our life to actually be here, right? I'm saying?
man,
We here
right,
smiling, we having a cool conversation, man. Look like we didn't ate today. I know we sitting
yep,
under a roof somewhere, I'm sure AC blowing over here in my house as we speak,
yep,
you know. But we done made it through all of the worst times already, man, but still be worried about the times that come up, which is just a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. And I was reading a book today and it mentioned how we can't be they mentioned the opposite of love, which some people feel like the opposite of love is hate, supposedly, but spiritually from what it said in his book, the
it's
opposite
fear.
of there you have it. The opposite of love is fear, right? So fear is like basically I would say slapping God in the face because you basically saying like I don't trust in that you're gonna work this out, even though you didn't created this, you didn't put the stars in the sky, you didn't did all of this magical stuff in the world. You done made it so that a seed can be put in the ground and watered and then grow into what is it, staffing, whatever they call it, a small tree, and then grow into a big tree. Do all of this stuff, but then be worried about this one situation you got in your life or this little bill that you get coming up. Then the bill end up getting paid some sort of random way. And
Yeah,
you spent that time worrying for no reason, man. That's just, I guess that's a moral of what I was gonna say, man. Like the point, we worry a lot of times for no reason when the things get worked out anyway. And if we sit in our space of love and trust, away from fear, then we sit in our more empowered state. But if we in that fearful state, man, then we at a complete opposite end of love, and you can't be on both ends of the stick or the spectrum at the same time.
that's true. That's true. I remember a Bible scripture says something to that effect of you can only serve one master.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was powerful in this sense because it's kind of like either you gonna worry or you gonna trust.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do both at the same time. Like I say, either you gonna be a god or a victim. You can't be both.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't be up here fearfully and thinking that you are a creator.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That you are a creator,
Mm-hmm.
that you can change your situations. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. But um back to what I was saying about the friend of mine, I'm just not just that situation is like I am proud of him,
Mm-hmm.
but then I also have to reflect over myself
Yep.
and realize I'm proud of myself for what I've overcome and what I've been through. You know what I
Come on
mean?
now, man.
And not only that is like I'm proud of myself this week and the last time I had challenges. You know what I mean? Like you know, it's not about getting down on yourself. It's about making those revisions,
Mm-hmm.
improving. You know what I mean? Like instead of getting completely down, let me do something to help this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do something constructive to put my energy into. Therefore, I can get to a better feeling place.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so it's every inch, you know what I'm saying? Like every foot, like every yard, you know what I'm saying? Like old boy on Snowball said, brick by brick, you
Brick
know
by
what
brick.
I'm
Sound like something you was
saying?
building up one of your
Yeah,
organizations you was
exactly. I
developing.
was, man. I was.
Man, and you
But
mentioned when you said something about, instead of getting down on yourself, I was like, man, what about, getting up on yourself, right?
yep,
Instead of giving up on yourself, get up on yourself, right? Instead of, getting down on yourself, get up on yourself. Man, you mentioned a word
yep.
earlier too. You said dramatic. I'm like, is that a real word? I think
Nah,
people
I
try to
meant
put out.
drastic.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you know what? We might have just created a word on here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we copyrighting it. With the copyright law, I guess they want once you actually do it and put it to a physical medium, then it's technically copyrighted. So, hey, dramatic. We're gonna lock that in. We're gonna use that. That's one of the words of the Down the Spirit podcast, joint. Man. But yeah, spirituality and loss, man. I know a lot of people are dealing with, a lot of losses, and we mentioned that a number of times on our podcast, man, or our conversation. A lot of people are dealing with loss now. We know a lot of people, a lot of y'all are dealing with losses. I see
Yeah,
my timeline, man, every day or so, somebody, saying rest in love or I'm hurt now or whatever, pray for me
yeah.
because, I'm going through this now or why did they take so and so. Man, so people dealing with a lot of loss. I'm seeing people, losing homes, man, people losing jobs, man, in the, the government spectrum because of some of the changes in the political world.
All right.
So what do you do in those moments? Y'all have a choice to do what you want to do, whether you think you can or can't, either way you right. You know what I'm saying? Whether you think you can get through it or you think you can't get through it, either way you right. What side you gonna be on,
Sure.
right? So having a more positive, uplifting mind frame or hopeful mind frame put you in a better space. It'll open up possibilities because as you sitting in a negative mind frame, feeling down on yourself, then like I say, it's like you slapping God in the face. But you notice that when the thing that you have your mind focused on and you start seeing more of it, just like with algorithms and social media, whether you scrolling Facebook reels or Instagram, TikTok, whatever that stuff is, you start seeing more things that's in alignment with what you spend most of your attention on. Just like when you get a new vehicle. Oh man, I just got this new Tesla, blah blah blah, X Model X or whatever. All right, so then you start noticing all the other people that get Model X Teslas on the road. Man, I didn't notice this many people that be on the road with Teslas. You didn't notice it before because your mind went focused on it, right? But now you riding in that Tesla, and now you noticing the similarities and things that matches what you riding in. So think about what you got your mind frame riding in, like what's going to match that. So if you're sitting in the idea of negativity and I'm down and worthless, why me, woe me, then you're going to start your algorithm in life is going to start reflecting that.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing other people that's down or seeing things that match your down energy. But when you get in the space of hopefulness or, hey, I can make it through, or, what I'm saying, I'm going to get up on myself instead of being down on myself. I'm going to get up on myself and get into that
Exactly.
uplifting mind frame. Then you start noticing opportunities because you ain't gonna notice that opportunity that's up a positive beneficial opportunity for you. It can come up and cut you off in traffic. But if you riding in the car of negativity and lowness and down, then when positivity and up in a good successful car opportunity come up in front of you, could cut you off in traffic, you want to notice the model of the car, so to speak, right? That'll go right past your mind and you dang near won't notice it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like what they call a negative hallucination, something that's subtracted out of your mind, like when you don't notice your keys and they've been sitting right in front of you, or you're in the refrigerator trying to look for the ketchup, but notice it was right in the front shelf, right in the front, but you looking past it in the back because you just think like, oh, it can't be just right in the front because I feel like I didn't see it. It must be way back here somewhere. And then notice like, man, if it was a snake, it would have bit me, like the old people used to say.
Yeah.
So where you gonna put your mind at? Where you put your mind at, and I would suggest in a more positive direction, a more hopeful direction, because then you're gonna start seeing more things that represent that. So I'm hoping that y'all are able to look at the good in whatever situation you have going on, because you are able to attach the meaning to any situation you have in life. Whether it could be something where somebody can look at it as bad, you can look at it as a lesson. Oh man, I just
Yeah.
had this breakup, but man, I learned a lot in that relationship. So the next one, man, I'm gonna be an even better person because I started looking at the things that I did wrong in this past relationship. I'm gonna change those things, man. I'm glad that it pointed those things out to me and showed me myself. So now I'm gonna be in a better position to get an even better person or be an even better person for the better person that I get. I don't let that go over y'all heads now. But
So,
it's all up to you. It's all up to
so,
what you want to do. Sometimes I know it might be a little hard struggle to try to finesse and massage your mind into a positive mind frame when you're dealing with such god awful situation in your life. But think about all of those god awful bad situations that you dealt with prior in life and how you're on the other side of them. You've been through all of the worst situations that you ever experienced in your life, and you made it through them because you are here today. If you are here
yeah,
able to listen to this conversational episode, right? So know that you very well can get through your next thing. You have the
yeah,
power, you have the ability to do it, especially if you, subscribe to and jump into your high spiritual power. We just gonna say that, for me is, I believe in God, so that's me. I'm gonna, look up to the God to help guide me through these things and empower me to be the extension of God and God that I am to have the strength to move through it. But hey,
yeah.
that's all I got, man. We had a
So I was gonna say this. I want to leave with this is like, pulling my Kev, mental coach Kev moment. These outer body experiences I've been
thank
watching,
you for
you know what
bringing
I'm
that up.
saying?
I was
And
wondering.
the guy that I watched, Darius J. Wright, I watched several of his interviews and him talking. And he was saying, from the other side, when he has his outer body experience, the knowledge that he come across is we forget who we are.
Hmm.
We come here to experience that which we are not.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, like, you know, the negative emotions that we feel and we experience are not who we are. They're just something that we're experiencing. We're here to experience the whole spectrum.
Hmm.
So I say that to say this too is that also, do all you can to uplift yourself, to encourage yourself, to be grateful and have your gratitude and do your affirmations and meditate and do what you love to do, follow your joy, do all of those things, but
Hmm.
don't negate the fact to sit in your emotions too.
Hmm.
You know, like you come here to gain an experience. Sometimes you have to grieve.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to come to the place of acceptance that things have changed and that things will be different.
Yeah.
They have no choice but to be different. And that's the thing because we're in a timeline where the only thing that's constant in your life is you.
Hmm. Yeah. You're gonna be what you
Everything
are.
else will change.
Yeah.
Time will change, your figure changed, your mental capacity, it changed.
Hmm.
Your finances changed, your peer group changed,
Hmm. Gray hairs get to popping
family
out if you
changed.
look.
Huh?
I said gray hairs get to popping out if you lucky to
Yeah,
be
I'm
old enough
telling you,
for
hey,
that.
it's changed.
Hmm.
But the key is appreciating and learning from that change. And I know you mentioned that a little earlier, but I felt like someone telling me make sure I, really bring that up, because
You said it in your way. So some people will get it even better coming from you than from me, because and I feel like that's the purpose of a lot of these different spiritual practices and spiritual books and contexts because we have different people that understand things in different ways, right? So
right.
the Bible, unfortunately, might go past some people's head, but then they might pick
Yep.
up the Quran and it's like, okay, I can understand this. All right, this is more of my speed or whatever. So
Yep.
it resonate for them. And then some people, they might go from there to the Bible or vice versa.
Yep.
So like you said, man, the thing that's constant, the one thing that's constant, man, is you. You're gonna take yourself to every situation. You're gonna be within yourself and with yourself every single second of the day and of your life. So that'd be a perfect person to love the most. Yep. So learn how to do that, man. Like we say, leads us into the what I usually say on here, man. Love yourself. You know, first find out what the real most grandest idea, most godly idea of what love is, right? The most untainted, pure, powerful idea of what love is. Once you figure that out, start expressing those things to yourself. You know, sit within that. Do those things to yourself, and then once you learn how to love yourself, you start applying that to others and to the world, and that will change yourself and change the world that you're in. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all. We the Down to Spirit conversational podcast here. We got, you know what I'm saying, up top, the one and only Sound Off the General, most definitely. And y'all can find him on every single platform at Sound Off the General, right?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
I'm listening.
Nah, go ahead. You good?
Soundoffthegeneral.com, which is in you know, being developed as we speak, and to be here live before you know it, right?
Right.
Okay, cool, cool. And then if you were to look for me or want to find me somewhere, I'm mental coach Kev on most all platforms, especially Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and we do have the YouTube of Down to Spirit podcast on YouTube. So if you just search down the number two and spirit all one word, then you should find us on there. You know what I'm saying? So then my website, mentalcoachkev.com. And I do have a free stress relief, anxiety relief guided meditation on there that you can actually have for free to experience that when you might be dealing with a stressful moment, because we do push and we are mental wellness forward here, as well as spirituality forward, and you know, just positivity forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we two you know, down to earth and down to spirit gentlemen here, man, having a down to earth, down the spirit conversation, man. We hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Y'all love yourself and love others too. Y'all be blessed. We out of here.
Yeah.